How can Brendan Sorsby be eligible? This is terrible for college sports, but there may be a silver lining underneath all the chaos. We'll get into that now on the BJack 70 show. Welcome back to the BJack 70 show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson, and Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech quarterback, has been ruled eligible due to an injunction from a court in Lubbock, Texas, whatever district Lubbock, Texas is in. He's going to play. He is going to play football in 2026 for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Caveat though, he will be facing a punishment of a 2-game suspension. So he'll miss the first 2 games of the 2026 college football season. Actually, I don't have that confirmed. It might be the first 2 games. It might just be a random 2 games on Texas Tech's schedule that they think they can win. I actually have no idea on that. But what I do know is somehow, some way, Brendan Sorsby, after gambling on his own team, gambling on his sport, gambling for and apparently against his own team, will be playing college football in 2026. I can't believe it. Every single time I've mentioned Brendan Sorsby on this channel, it has been speaking in absolutes because there was no way I could possibly fathom Brendan Sorsby playing college football again. I could not fathom it. And by judging the reactions of everybody that I've seen on Twitter, other people talking about it on YouTube, on ESPN, everybody else shared my opinion that this was unfathomable. He broke the cardinal sin, the one rule you cannot break, which is to gamble on your own team. The biggest rule in sports, professional or collegiate, that you cannot break in 2026, he broke it and he beat the charges. Somehow he beat the charges. I have no idea how this is possible. I have no idea what the judge that made this ruling was thinking. It is absolutely inconceivable, incomprehensible. I cannot believe that this is happening. I truly can't believe it. And some of you may be watching this and you think I'm being dramatic, making a big deal out of nothing, but this is truly a huge deal, and this is one of the worst things that could possibly ever happen to college sports. And that's not hyperbole. It's truly not hyperbole, because this is an unbelievably slippery slope. So I found out today. I already knew Brendan Sorsby had bet on the Indiana Hoosiers football team while he was a member of the team. I already knew that. And as far as I had known, he had bet on them in a positive manner to win these games. But in reading ESPN article that dropped today as this news came out, I became aware that we don't know if it was him specifically, but the gambling accounts that he had access to and was making some of these bets through, presumably the ones betting on Indiana football, because once again, he knew you weren't allowed to do that. So he had to circumvent the system. So it wasn't his own account, but somebody else's account that he had access to. Those accounts that he had access to, there were bets placed against Indiana on those accounts. For what it's worth, Sorsby says he has no recollection of those two bets. There were two bets against Indiana. Says he has no recollection. I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't. Because if you did, well, actually, if you did and admitted it, there's at this point nothing. What would have changed? What would have changed? Because I thought the smoking gun was that he bet on Indiana football at all. I thought silly me, I thought that was enough for him to never play college football ever again. I thought that was enough. I thought that was it. I thought that was all you needed to know for it to be an open and shut case. But clearly, I've been living in an alternate reality because he's going to play football. He's going to play college football in 2026 after accounts that he had access to bet against the team that he was playing for. He was not the starting quarterback on these teams, but he was dressed for these football games. If somehow, I don't know what the depth chart situation was. I don't know if he was the backup, third string, fourth string. I don't know. But it doesn't matter, but I don't know what the situation was. But if he were to have gotten into these football games, where accounts that he had access to had bet against the Hoosiers, who knows what happens? He says he doesn't recall those bets. Maybe he didn't know that his friend's account or his cousin's account or whoever's account that he was using, maybe he didn't know those people bet against Indiana. Maybe he truly didn't know. But what if he did know? What if he did know? And what if he got into those games? What if the game was close enough for him to actually have an effect on the outcome of that football game? These are the things that I think 99% of people are actually considering, that they're thinking about when talking about this. But somehow they got a person that's in that 1% that doesn't see a problem with it, happens to be a Texas judge, and ruled in favor of Brendan Sorsby. And if you've noticed, however long I've been talking, I haven't mentioned his play, his actual prowess as a quarterback yet, because that does not matter. I will still say this happened, this happened in college. If I still want him to be able to pursue his dreams as a professional quarterback, but there had to be consequences. There is no way, shape, or form this gentleman should be playing college football ever again. And yes, it is that serious. It really is that serious, because not only, and every time I talk about Brendan Sorsby, I bring it up. They tell you day one on campus, you cannot bet on football. If you play football, you can't bet on football. If you play soccer, you can't bet on college soccer. If you play basketball, you can't bet on college basketball. You can't do it. You cannot do it. I don't know. I don't know what the rationale is for letting this happen, because it obviously shouldn't be happening. The effect that this could have on college sports, because where's the line? if we know that he had access to accounts that bet against Indiana, and he's going to play, where is the line? Where is the line to have athletes that compete in college sports bet against their own team and throw games? We're opening up ourselves to that. It's already happening, but we're opening ourselves up for all these kinds of situations to arise even more. It is, again, incomprehensible that he's going to be allowed to play. I truly can't believe this. And if you're watching this and you're a Texas Tech fan, I want you to know I do not blame you. I do not hold any ill will towards the Texas Tech football fan base, because this isn't your fault. You didn't pay the lawyer fees to make this happen. You weren't in the courtroom where this happened. So I'm not against Texas Tech in some grandstanding way. Because you didn't do this. Fan base didn't do this. Even people that are part of the football program, Joey McGuire, whoever the AD is, whoever is in charge of this, I honestly also don't even blame you. I'm blaming the general college football sphere, because of course, if this happened in a program that I was rooting for, I wouldn't like it, but I would accept it, and I would accept the quarterback that we paid a bunch of money to play. I would be happy that he was playing. I still wouldn't like it though. I think you guys that have watched me know me well enough. I will tell it like it is. How I feel is how I feel. But so I can't really begrudge the Texas Tech program that they made this happen. The problem is the judge that allowed it, and the problem is the NCAA has no enforcement ability whatsoever. And we knew that. We've known that for a long time now. But again, silly me, thought the NCAA could at least keep players that bet on their own teams out of the sport. I thought they could at least do that, and it's shown that they can't. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that there was a silver lining. The silver lining for me personally is just, not the silver lining, but for me personally, the Browns won't take Brendan Sorsby in the supplemental draft. Thank goodness. I don't have to worry about that. I'm very glad that is not a possibility anymore, because he won't be entering that draft. He will be competing in college football. So I'm happy about that. But for the larger point, the silver lining is this ruling on Monday, June 8th. This ruling letting Brendan Sorsby become eligible, this has to cause some kind of chain reaction for legislation in college football. It absolutely has to be. Because again, I think 99% of people can look at this situation and understand this can't happen. The people in charge of college football, the commissioners of the Big Ten, SEC, all these big time programs, all the figureheads of college football, they understand that this can't happen, because if the true integrity of the sport of football that we watch every Saturday in college, if that is compromised and people don't treat it as seriously as they treat it right now, if that becomes no longer the case, they have a problem and they're going to lose money because of it. So just by sheer self-preservation, those people that are in charge of the sport have to do something about this. However it however it comes to fruition, there needs to be a governing body, some kind of enforcement arm over college football, because this can't happen. This cannot happen. This has to be the one and only player that beats the charges like this, beats the gambling charges and allegations to keep playing the sport. This has to be the one and only time. I mean, preferably they could figure something out and step in before the season starts. That would be best case scenario, but I will accept Brendan Sorsby being the one and only. And you cutting this off before it really gets started. And I am not somebody, like, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a law student, I'm not in the political sphere like that. So I don't know what's happening with Congress and college football and all of those bills going on. But what I do know is college football needs serious help. Serious help. Because the sport I love could be crumbling in our faces as we speak. Something has to be done. We did good things. We got NIL into the space. Players are getting paid. Players are getting what they deserve. Other than that, there needs to be some restrictions put into college football. And just, personally, I would, the biggest problem, the biggest problem now I have with college football is letting gamblers that gamble on their own teams play. That's number one. That is number one on my agenda, and it will be until we know it has been rectified. Number two, and across college football and college sports in general, the transfer portal is out of control. You should be able to get a one-time free transfer, do whatever you want with it, but otherwise, we can't have, we really shouldn't have athletes going five different schools in 4 years, 6 different schools in 5 years. It shouldn't be happening like that. But I don't want to get all the way onto my soapbox about what's wrong with college football, because we have a huge flashing, blinking red light, red siren, basically a bomb about to go off in front of us that we have to disengage. And that's front of mind. I've been playing James Bond 007 First Light. So that's front of mind. But this can't happen. It cannot happen again. It truly cannot. Yeah, man. Please let me know how you feel. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on social media, what are you guys thinking about Brendan Sorsby being eligible to play? Because I can't fathom it. And I know, again, there's going to be people, and it's probably going to be on TikTok in the comments. You're taking it too far. This is too much. It's not that big of a deal. It is the biggest deal. This is the biggest deal in college sports. It is that serious. It really is that serious. And if you can't see that, you are going to get a lesson very sooner rather than later, because more stories like this are going to pop up. So appreciate you guys being here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, man. And more Browns coverage coming this week. It's mandatory minicamp. Any news that we'll get, we will cover during this week. And yeah, man, appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you later.